My name is Arshad. Today is the 18th of March 2020. Last week, Wednesday, it was 11th, and that's when the first case was found in Sri Lanka, the first Sri Lankan. Now, way before that, everywhere in the world, in some parts, it was really bad. And as for us, we weren't looking at this as serious as the rest of the countries right out there. Now, even now, when I'm looking at many of the people out there, friends and family, we haven't yet taken it seriously. Truth is, I have told all of my family to do a self-quarantine. Now, quarantine right now we think is something that we should do if we are sick. Truth is, we should try and do it regardless. A self-quarantine is truly needed, guys. If you're watching this now, I picked it up from many of the reports that I was going through in my own research. There is a possibility that it might take 12 months to 16 months for the vaccine to be ready. Now, the only thing that we can do until such time is to delay how many of us possibly maybe get sick through this. Some other reports confirm that there is a possibility that 70% of the world's population at some point will be sick.
There are many epidemiologists who talk about the potential of the virus in terms of attack rates globally that could be between 50 and 70% of the global population.
COVID-19 is going to hit as many as it can. Now, if such a possibility could become a reality, it means there is about 12 months to 16 months before we get our vaccines. And even when the vaccine is ready, to produce it for about 4 to 5 billion people of the world, it is going to take a lot of time. So even if the vaccine is ready, by the time we get it, it is going to take a lot of time. So wherever it is that you are watching this, this is serious. In another report, I was watching it, and the man, the person talking to a reporter, compared this situation, COVID-19, to World War II. Now, World War II, you and I, we weren't around to know how bad it is, but we know in history that was one of the worst things that happened during recent times. So if you're watching this right now, please do understand that this is very serious. Self-quarantine is something you should try and somehow be in. It is not just for the people who are coming from abroad. It is not just for the people who have symptoms. It is maybe for people who can, anyone and everyone. If you don't have a need to go out, you should try and stay inside. For once, we need to try and stay inside and not go out, and that sort of self-quarantine can help us in the long term, right? What if it truly takes a lot of time for the vaccine to be ready? And if that situation could become a reality, we need to delay this so that we have a higher chance of not falling sick. Now, that is one thing, guys. Along with that is social distancing. I don't think we truly understand what this is. I mean, the world is not ready. We are not ready. You're not ready. I'm not ready. This is important that we keep distance from everyone. If there is no need to meet someone, we should avoid it. This is not a time to meet friends. This is not a time to go out and travel. This is a time where we should stay low, stay down. It is very important that we stay low and stay down. Social distancing, as for some of the reports that I heard, it says to leave about 3 feet from the person in front of you or behind you. Now, I went into the bank. Most of the banks in Sri Lanka, we haven't necessarily understood this. There is no social distancing that is happening right now. Everyone is jammed in. Now, I do understand that maybe most of us don't have the option of staying back home, but we certainly have the option of staying and putting some distance between the next person. Social distancing is very, very, very important. Now, the reason I wanted to put this across is that most of us are already aware of the symptoms. We know how to avoid it. We know the many different things that is being told. We know what is false, what is true. However, though, we are yet to understand the seriousness of what this could become. If there is a possibility that 70% of the world could get it, it means you and I are not out of that equation. It is possible that we too could get it. So these two things, self-quarantine, if you can, you should stay inside. If you're not necessary, if you're not needed outside, stay inside. And if you're truly needed outside, take as much as you can the measures to make sure that you don't fall within that social distancing gap has to be maintained. Now, this is one side of the conversation, guys. Let's say that it doesn't go that far. However, though, on the other side, an economic downturn, a recession is definitely on its way. 2.5 years maybe, we don't know, maybe long. Now, if a recession is about to come, you need to understand how you handle and manage your finances is super important at this time. We cannot live life like everything is normal. We have to consider all options. Don't get into any loans. This is a really bad time for you to get into loans. If you can settle your loans, sell off something, settle your loans. Maybe if the government does give us an option where loans can be delayed, let us be happy for that. But however, on the other side, this is not a good time to get into loans. Spend less as much as you can. Less is better. Don't spend on anything that you don't need. Spend only on things that you need, and keep something for something that could happen in the future. Right? An economic downturn is definite. It is coming our way. Maybe let's look at the bright side of life. Maybe the virus would be taken care of by the world. Someone is going to come up with a vaccine, and before we know it, it's going to be gone. However, though, a recession is on its way, and we should understand how to spend and how not to spend. Spend less. Don't spend on anything that is not necessary. Spend less. Stay low. And that is going to be the biggest thing that we can do right now. Yes, please. I truly believe that we have no idea how bad the situation is right now. And some reports confirm that this is just the beginning, this is just the start of it. There could be the second wave, there could be many more things that could come after this. Now, I do not know how far of what is being said is true, and I do not know how far of what I hear is true, but I do know one thing. It is better to be prepared than not. It is better that we try to stay away. It is better that we avoid. It is better that we over-prepare than not prepare. If you're watching this, tell this to your family. Tell this to everyone you can. I've told this to everyone in my family. Everyone. As much as I can, I've told people to self-quarantine. If you don't have a reason to go out, please don't self-quarantine. And if you have a need to go out, you should understand maybe when you go out, when you come in, try to keep clothes that you wear for outside and try to keep clothes that you will wear inside. This is all super important, right? I'm Arshad and I'm from Sri Lanka. For the first week, we have had 43 cases. That is way above than the rest of the countries outside. And I truly hope and I pray that it doesn't get really bad like that of in some parts of the world. I hope that we take the right measures to prevent this from a bigger disaster. And truly, and I hope that you stay safe. Share this message with your family and friends. Stay safe. I'll try and be in touch with as many of you as I can. But please do share the message. Stay safe.